You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White sports supporters. Well, let's talk about the Steelers. A team we've talked about a lot on this channel. More specifically, whether it was Aaron Rodgers, is he or is he not going to show up to the team, or like last season when we went on Mike Tomlin watch. Well, guess what? We're back on Mike Tomlin watch, as Mike Tomlin's starting to take a little more heat in the actual media. And we've got not one, but two different NFL insiders that are talking about the idea of Mike Tomlin leaving, something I've talked about myself, about the idea that Mike Tomlin might leave to take a different job with a different team. Thus, sort of a mutual parting of the ways, maybe. So, Cowherd, let's start with Colin Cowherd, because, I mean, he just decided to go off about Mike Tomlin's, 9-8, 8-8, the 10-6, the 10-7, the very Midland level of coaching performance that we've seen out of Mike Tomlin for years and years. I've had a theory that there is a team he would love to go coach, and I think if they could get him, they would love to have him. It worked out with Andy Reid leaving the Eagles. Andy Reid was a hell of a coach with the Eagles, but it became stale. And guess what? He went to Kansas City. I think I heard somebody say he has been there like 14 years already. Surely that's not right. It was something ridiculous. I was like, I can't believe he's been gone from Philly that long. But, I mean, he had Alex Smith. So it's been a while. And now, of course, I guess Patrick Mahomes has been a starter, 7 seasons already? Something like that? Or more? It's been a while. And there's a team in New York, I think, that would love to have Tomlin. And so Reid went to Kansas City, won Super Bowls. The Eagles, well, they've been to 3 and won 2 of them themselves. So it worked out for all parties. Let's go.
I'm going to throw something at you that I think is an arbitrary number, that everybody in sports sees it as a number having value. And I see it as an arbitrary number that doesn't really mean anything. So Mike Tomlin and the Steelers have not had a losing season in 21 seasons. Whew. But there's a story this morning. Is the hot seat heating up? Well, he hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years. He would be fired if he was the Eagles coach or the Cowboys coach. He would be fired if he was, the New England coach, the San Francisco coach, the Green Bay coach. Green Bay, you got to win playoff games. He'd be fired if he was the Ravens coach. But in Pittsburgh, it's old school. And they take pride in stuff like we have not had a losing season in 21 years. I want you to think about that. I went and looked this up this morning. In that same stretch, 21 seasons, to show you how little that means, we haven't had a losing season. In that same stretch, 21 seasons, 60 NFL teams with winning records missed the playoffs. Winning record doesn't mean anything. It doesn't guarantee anything. In 21 seasons, 4 times they were 500. Another 4, they were a game over. What does it mean?
Okay, so now the national media is finally putting some heat on. Cowherd's occasionally put a little heat on, but more so. Now, personally, I wouldn't have brought up the Cowboys because, well, Coach Clapp, Jason Garrett, he had some 8-8 years in there, some 9-7 action going on there for a while. So I don't know that that's the guy that I would have brought, the Cowboys I would have brought up, but a lot of teams, sure. Eagles are a great example. So that brings us over to this, right? Scroll up. Stage is set for Tomlin to leave the Steelers. And so this article, or not article, but report came out from Josina Anderson. Josina Anderson's made this channel 2 days in a row. I'm fairly confident hell has froze over. But I actually kind of saw what she was talking about with her report yesterday, and I certainly see this one. Keeping tabs as we approach carousel season, league sources are eyeing 5 more NFL teams with projected openings at head coach. As of where things stand today, while waiting to collect more data on a 6th team, too. Meanwhile, there's a longtime NFL head coach there who is considering wanting a change of scenery and has told others of these thoughts. If he acts on these lingering feelings, his departure would clearly add to the list of vacancies. Okay, well, he would also likely fill the void of a job that's out there right now. So, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Ray Filipaldo also made some interesting comments. He touched on the topic in his weekly chat, stating that he doesn't see a world in which Pittsburgh will simply let Tomlin go and take on the final 2 years of his contract. I don't think he's going to have to. If he goes to another team, they won't have to worry about it. Offset language will kill it without having him in the building. Instead, Filipaldo threw out a scenario in which two sides would mutually part ways, which would allow Tomlin to find another job and the Steelers to not have to pay out the remaining total left on his deal. Quote, I don't see the Steelers eating the final 2 years of the contract. They're not going to have to. Quote, maybe there's a common ground where they mutually part ways, Tomlin gets another job, and they're not on the hook for the entirety of the contract. And I will tell you, I'll tell you what I've said before. It's, in my opinion, it's the Giants. All right? It makes a lot of sense. I think they would love to have Mike Tomlin in New York. Comes in, immediately stabilizes the franchise in such a way as Tom Coughlin once did. You know, people forget Tom Coughlin was with the Jacksonville Jaguars a long time, had success. Not as long as Tomlin, but hell, who has? Right? And I think he would look and go, the Steelers are about to have a rebuild. I mean, do they have their quarterback? I mean, I don't know. I like Will Howard, but I wouldn't want to count on it. All right? And their defense, long in the tooth. This roster needs a reset. I don't know that Tomlin wants to do that. But in New York, any coaching candidate is going to look at that job and they're going to go, wow, okay. There's a ton of talent on the defensive line and in the defense. And I think they have potentially what could be a modern day version. I mean, this was just in the 90s. But a potential version of the triplets. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo, and Malik Neighbors. All right, a guy that looks absolutely like a franchise quarterback, absolutely elite wide receiver, and a guy that looks like a bruising, cruising running back, provided he comes back from injury. And I just think it makes all the sense in the world. Tomlin leaves the Steelers, and the Giants hire him. The Steelers are out of the contract business, right? So, and John Mara, I think, would get exactly the person he'd want. Now, I mean, look, John Harbaugh is another one that fits into this category. And sometimes I wonder if Kyle Shanahan does too. I'm a Niners fan, but I do wonder sometimes if Shanahan is like, you know, am I Andy Reid in Philly? And I don't know what the hell my team would do. because we were a train wreck between Harbaugh and Shanahan. You know? But I just have a feeling that something is percolating with the Giants, Tomlin. If Tomlin chose to part ways, he would already know where he's already going. Would be my extremely educated guess. Let's put it that way. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.